Hi everyone, I'm Callie Nogueira, and let me start introducing everybody here. So we have Noah Tillman.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. So yeah, Noah, he runs it's a steady horse training. He's a horse trainer over in, what state are you in?
I'm in Texas.
In Texas? Oh, of
Yeah.
course, in the background.
Yeah.
How can I
South of
forget?
San Antonio.
Great.
Yeah.
And then we have Dr. Angelo Tellington. And so he has a PhD in equine behavior, and he's also an instructor at Delaware Valley University. So thank you, Dr. Tellington, for being here.
Thank you for having me here. I normally am shaved. This is my quarantine beard. I haven't touched since I've been locked in the house, and nobody, besides you now, nobody was looking at it. So I figured I let it go.
Now you can share with the whole world.
Yeah.
And we have Callie Ray King. And Callie, she's a horse trainer at her facility she has at CRK Horse Training. And so, yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and then we have Kursinski, and she is a 5-time Olympian. She's a hunter, jumper, and dressage trainer as well. And I'm just so happy to have you here.
Too many words. Too many words.
Too many, yes.
And you can just say, and is a legend.
And it's
Just
pretty much
had it a long time.
Amazing legend, yes. Well, actually Tanya Buck I don't see her on here. So Tanya should be joining us as well. Let's see. So she'll be joining us shortly, she says. She's having a little trouble hopping on here, but Tanya Buck is joining us as well. And she's a holistic horse trainer, and she's also an equestrian author. So she'll be joining us here shortly. She says she's having a little trouble hopping on. So, okay, great, everyone. So this is what we're doing today. We're just talking about this specific topic is, it's really important right now, and just bringing the community together. And it's called Connected Horsemanship in a Time of Isolation is what I'm calling this. And this is what we're doing. We're reaching out, leaders in the industry of just coming together and coming up with solutions and just problem solving and just being there for each other, support, just during this time, and just offering any kind of, support, whatever you guys need. So that's what this intention is, to give you guys support for the listeners. So thank you so much for watching, and please feel free in the comments, go in the chat. I don't know if on Facebook it's the same way, but when you hop on here in Zoom, you can put questions in there, and we can help you guys answer your questions. What are you guys, what's happening out there with COVID-19? Like, what are you experiencing? Like, what's keeping you up at night? Are you even being able to see your horses and things like that? So today we're going to go into that as well. So thank you guys so much for being here with me too. So thank you. Alrighty, so getting started, I have some questions that I already got. People have submitted to me in the past, and feel free if you guys have any as well. The panelists, if you guys have any that you run into, we can go into that too. So this first person, they're talking about, they said, I would like support with how to exercise my horse, keeping her healthy without lunging or riding. I'm having a limited time and turnout right now. What's the best way? She's 18 years old. She's got metabolic and arthritic issues right now. She is kept in top form with daily exercise. I'm just reading what she's saying here. Now that I'm really worried about her long-term health. To me, exercise is essential, but my barn owners are taking that away right now. She's self-boarding. So I get to see my horse every day for feeding and cleaning, but that is all. So what do you all recommend for her? What would you recommend? So we can just go around, whoever can start, what would you recommend for her in the situation?
Well, I don't know, Scott. I see myself on my screen on the top, so I'll start. Well, one thing that I actually thought about myself too, my back is basically fused with my bed between all Zoom meetings that I'm doing. So if she has the chance to go to take care of her horse, then just take the horse on a lunge line and go for a run. It's good for you and it's good for the horse, and you accomplish two things. you keep yourself fit during COVID-19 lock in the house, and at the same time, you give a nice movement to the horse that is not connected to lunging or riding.
Sounds good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have a lady in our barn that has a similar kind of situation where she has a horse someplace else, and because of the lockdown, she's not able to get over there, and they're limited with the exercise because it is an older horse. One of the things that she's doing with the advisement of her vet, they're doing certain stall exercises where they're backing her up, they're moving her on the forehand, moving her hind end, getting her to engage in those types of ways. So it's not the ideal type of exercise that she'd like to be having done with her horse, but it's still something, and that horse is getting that interaction. And so I think something is better than nothing. And so, if you get the advice from your vet and recommendations, you can do a lot of things that will keep your horse both physically and also mentally engaged.
Awesome.
Yes, I agree completely. This is Anne, and the more you can interact with your horse, the better. Taking him out for a walk. Again, if you get to feed your horse, get out there, walk it, move it around. If you don't want to lunge it and you can't ride it so much. The other thing also to check with is what they're eating. If you've cut back their exercise because of this, to check with whoever, whether you're feeding the horse yourself and mixing the feeds or in your barn, and as you say, with the veterinarian, to really check their diets, like us, if you're maybe not as active as you normally are, to really check and see also what they're eating. Of course, the movement is very important, and whether it's you hand walking them or you riding them, and I think that bonding with your horse, making that time, it's actually very important in this time. And I think for a lot of people, ever since I was a little kid, my horses are my best friends. Spending time with them feels the best. It's the best medicine, I think, anyway, the time with your horse, no matter how active it is or isn't, whether it's hugging your horse in the stall. But along with the exercise, check on what they're eating if you need to change what they're eating at this time as well.
Yeah, I think something else to add too, on board with everything that's been said, and the movement being really important, and the mental stimulation really important too, especially if turnout is limited. So looking at some things that you could do for enrichment in the stall. Sometimes it takes experimentation to find out what your horse is really into, but it might be things like getting creative with, could you get like an old broom and hang it up, something for them even to rub against, trying like jolly balls around. What sometimes works really well is the containers that, they roll around, they get little bits of food, or it slow feeds hay. And then in your interaction too, you could play around with doing some mentally stimulating exercises, doing some targeting, or just teaching some new things.
Yeah, awesome.
And yeah, too. I let Callie to do that part with targeting. Like she mentioned, I would add the clicker training. The clicker. It's amazing how horses, as soon as they see you coming with the clicker, they'll just come towards you and say, "Come here, let's play. What do you want me to do?" And then they'll start like offering you. And even you can teach them to roll a ball. You can teach to roll a ball to a horse with the nose in probably 15, 20 minutes. And then with that one, you just go in the ring and you make the horse roll the ball. And that's a great exercise and interaction with you too.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, like who would have thought of that kind of stuff? That's really cool. Like just the mental stimulation is so big. And then just going, like, if you have a chance just to hand walk them, maybe you can't exercise them, but just get a chance to hand walk them, I think is a big deal, wherever you can. So you might be limited in space, but if you can hand walk them and just have the interaction with them, I think is just huge. Like they're sitting there waiting for you as well at the barn. So that time you get to spend with them is huge for you and for your horse too. So like just what Anne was saying too, like just like that's your time. Like your time with the barn is like also therapy for you. That's what I feel. Oh, okay. So Tanya's hopping on here soon, and we'll give her a chance to answer when she gets a second here. So Awesome. Okay. And I'm not seeing any in the chats here. I'm going to check on Facebook too and see if there's any comments, because people can input their questions there as well. So I'm just checking on there. So while I'm looking that up, for the panelists, what are you guys experiencing, like at your own barns? Like, how are you guys handling the situation?
I'll jump in. I find that, especially right now, with all the social distancing, and we've taken measures. Texas is like slowly opening back up now. And so we are having kind of limited interactions from a distance, right? Masks on and all that good stuff. But people are really spending, kind of like what Ann said, are really taking advantage of this time to connect and bond with their horses, which is so cool, right? Because I feel like sometimes we take that for granted. And now with people having been isolated for so long, not having the opportunities to get on in there and be with their horses, it feels like that relationship is more meaningful and more precious to a lot of people at this time. And so it's just even awesome, even the things that we're discussing, obviously COVID, terrible thing, but it's neat that it's slowed some things down and it's causing us to reconsider, evaluate, take a look at things, and look at the things that are meaningful to us in our lives, horses, and of course other things as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so nice to hear, like, it's opening up a little bit. We'll see what happens. It's controversial. We can't please everybody, but yes, that it's definitely it's a hot topic right now. And just the fact that we get a chance to see our horses is big. So that's great that you guys get to see your horses in Texas. It's opening up a little bit more for you all. What are you guys doing down there? And Dr. Tellington, what? Because I know you're at the school. Yeah. What is going on with the school?
So, my situation is a little different because we have school horses that we use for our equine program. So the students, we went online, so there's no students on campus to ride the horses. So what we have done to cope with that, we do have a small staff, a group of students that keep coming and on social distance take care of the horses. But what we have done is we reduced the herd. So all the horses that were leased or belong to someone, we send them home in their house. So then they would take care of them. And then the one that we own, we reduced a lot the herd, and basically they got the chance to stay out all day. So we reduced also the stall, the amount of cleaning, hand like people that we need to clean stalls. And we're lucky because we have the walker. So the horses go in the walker every day, etc. On my side, this is turning out like as Leslie said, as like the best thing that could ever happen. My apartment is on an old stone farm that has 14 acres. And the owner wants horses so then she doesn't have to mow the pasture. And so the college sent here my horse that I ride and compete. And also there was another school horse that it was getting a little naughty, a little taking advantage of the students, and it's very powerful. So they're like, well, we'll send that one to you there too, because we can, like, we don't even like just handle it. And I love trail riding, and there are very few cars now. So I'll just ride them, hop on the street, ride them to a closed lake. It's a 2-hour deal, like street, lake, back, and I'm enjoying it. And actually, I found out that the problem that he has, it's not related to like aggression or unwillingness to work. It's actually fear. It took me the first day forever to do even half a mile, because everything sets him off, and after he sets off, his reaction is, okay, now you're gone and I'm going home. And so the constant scare of everything has created between us a bond. And now he's like, okay, fine. So he gets scared, and I say, no, we keep going. Like, okay, fine. I get scared, let's go. We are okay, fine. So his mental attitude is like, thank God, thank coronavirus. It's improving so much due to the challenge of the trail ride that I'm looking forward when the competition restart, and I'm sure he'll turn into a great competition horse, because as soon as he got to a competition, he's gonna be like, oh, thank God, something finally familiar.
Absolutely. And I think it's great to hear that, during this time, it's really stressful in the household, and just to understand, like, you have an option, you have a horse, like, it's a great opportunity to go out. And so experiencing things like that, like you're saying, like, it's the best thing that's happened to me and my horse. Like, there are opportunities. Like, with every situation, there's going to be opportunities. Yes, there's going to be downsides to anything. But for this, we as horsemen, horse people, horsewomen too, we can take advantage of this. And it's not all just doom and gloom. Like, we absolutely can take advantage of this. So I love hearing that, Dr. Tellington. That's like the great story. What are you doing over there, Anne?
Yeah, well, I have 130 acres, so it's like my own park, which is fabulous. I didn't let my students in initially when, the president and everybody said, stay home and the virus, and I'm in New Jersey. So New Jersey, New York, it's gotten it pretty bad. I was in Florida and came up. Been home about 3 weeks now. But when we first got home, really was, I just wanted just my staff, my grooms that are here. And one of them can ride, and I'm riding, and my partner's riding, to exercise the horses lightly. It's not jumping, again, be safe. Been just doing some poles on the ground now a little bit. So turnout, I've, ample turnout, some light riding, just again, the mental part for the horses. The older horses turn out, the retired ones, they go out as long as they can. They don't know the difference. I think they're getting a little more attention, which is kind of nice also. And I have a walker. So again, depending weather and things, the horses go on the walker as well. And that's just now I realized something had opened up, that owners can come to the farm and ride. So I just opened it up a day or two ago and have had a couple of the kids out. And basically, though, they don't come in the barn. My grooms get the horses ready. They meet them at the mounting block, basically, so they don't have to come in. Again, the safety of the guys, people that work for me, and of course the kids, but then go ride, and they can, a light lesson that I've done. But again, I said, you haven't ridden for so long, just get on and have fun, enjoy your horse, and we're not going to have at the moment, some intense lesson. I think that's fun, just to enjoy the horse, the little kids and having fun like that. I think now is a great time also, though, for online. You can read books. People that haven't had time to read books. There's so much information online as far as find out what the top riders are doing and how they ride, and dressage and Western horsemanship. I mean, a lot of my kids, I've sort of said, these are people that I would go follow. But here at the farm, yes, finally, I'm just allowing them to ride, but with all of them also safety first, no falling off the ambulance in the hospital. Nobody wants to go there right now, so be smart about it. And even my grooms, the staff, when we got home from Florida, please be smart. You don't want some silly accident to happen. Really pay attention in these times with the healthcare system and everything. But again, the love of the horses, being around the horses, there's nothing like it. And I think everybody that, as you say, to be grateful for the horses in our lives. We're so lucky. Yes, you worry about paying the bills and horse shows and all of those kind of things. But I mean, we are just so lucky. And again, reading about being outdoors, I've read a lot of articles about that. Thank goodness I don't live in the city, or I don't live in a 2-bedroom apartment somewhere. We're outside, vitamin D, all those things. So much to be thankful and grateful for, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a blessing to have so much space where you get to enjoy. Like, oh my gosh, how amazing.
Very blessed, very thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tanya, hey, how are you? I want to make sure you get a second now that we got you on here. Some of that virtual, like getting that digital stuff taken care of. I'm glad it worked out. We got you on. How are you, Tanya?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Great. And so just to reintroduce Tanya, now she's back on here. So Tanya, she's a holistic horse trainer, and she's also an equestrian author. And so I wanted to have her join us as well. And this has been a great opportunity just for you to share your experiences too, and what you're doing. So how's it going for you during COVID?
It's great. I don't really see a whole lot of difference in my work or in my daily life because I'm kind of a loner anyway. My horses are on my property. Training is a little different because I am a mobile trainer. I don't have a barn. I don't work out of a barn. I work out of all the barns. So I travel to people, and those sessions look a little different. We keep distance. We're not wearing masks. We are wearing gloves, but pretty much I bring my own tack as I'm able. And if I use theirs, they wipe it down before I saddle. They don't saddle the horse. I kind of take over, and they stand back and watch. I talk, and then we do what we have to do. After that, when they're riding or if I need them hands on, then I step back. And again, I'm just yapping at them as usual, So all in all, it's good. We're practicing safety, of course, first, and not doing a lot of, not doing anything too extraordinary. So it's going well.
That's great. And you're in Colorado, right?
I am in Colorado, so we do a lot of trail riding, and that really hasn't let up much at all. We just go, I'm kind of avoiding the parks. Our parks are overloaded and everybody's out there. And so we're kind of either avoiding them or going off trail in the parks that we're able to. I have a lot of private property to ride on, so that's helpful as well. So that's how we're handling it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's not so
huge opportunity for equestrians, right?
Definitely. Most barns here are open, at least I live in the mountains outside of Denver. And so they haven't shut down. They haven't, made it so that we can't come in. If they have, they've limited the time. So somebody can come in at 8 o'clock, somebody can come in at 10 o'clock, like 2 hour staggers. And that works fabulously. It really does. They ask the boarders to bring in their own halter, even though the horse has a halter at the barn, so that none of the staff touches any of the equipment, because we just don't know how bad it is or how good it is or, how it's transferred. You keep hearing different things. So we're just kind of going overboard. And, honestly, I think having animals, we've learned about diseases, and we do know how to handle ourselves in a disease situation. Most of us have had horses in ICU or in, at a vet clinic where you're putting on the booties and the mask and the gloves and the whole thing. I think that helps us. I think we're a step ahead of like normal people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're saying too, just about like the timing of like you're having people come at certain specific times. I love that. Even just thinking about that, like you have a designated amount of time. It's like you when you go to the barn, you have a set goal. Like, okay, I only have so much time with my horse. Now you really get to think about like what that's going to look like versus just showing up and like, we'll see how it goes. Like you can really accomplish a lot if you've got a goal with your horse. Like, hey, I want to learn how to do XYZ with my horse if you have access to, the arena and things like that. But just having that like set amount of time, like then you really have to plan out your time with them. And I just think that's great for just scheduling in general, like knowing that.
It is good. Yeah, it is good. I made after I spoke with you yesterday, I kind of wrote down some things like, what am I doing? And what are the positive things? And how do we help people? Me, I have to go through all that. And one of the things that I thought about was what you just said, the fact that we only have a certain amount of time, we have set goals. And then I said, yeah, that's all fine and good, but sometimes the horse looks at you and says, yeah, no, not today. We're not doing that. And you have to be flexible, that flexibility in, working with the horse on the horse's timeline as well as your own. So yeah, I might say I'm going to do ABC. I might end up doing, Y, D, and F. I never know. I just kind of adjust for it. And that's how I operate anyway. So it's okay. But yeah, the time limit for the owner is different. I think that's very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think going along with that, for sure, the patience part of it. In my business, we're at horse shows so much, very 2-3 weeks out of the year. And so for so many people, the goal is a horse show or the ribbon or whatever. I'm not, that's not my my gut thing, honestly. That's not how I've been successful, but the patience part of again, playfulness with the horse as well, getting hands on, enjoying the animal and everything. But then in the training, also patient. What's the rush? What's the hurry when so many people are on, as you say, human time, not on the horse's time? It's great to be able to say, it's okay. We don't know when the next horse show is going to be. We don't know when the next competition is going to be. If your horse needs more time or the rider needs a little more time, take the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
don't
love
you
that.
think
I
that
absolutely love that because, you know, having the right mindset is huge. And I feel like you said, and with like slowing down and patience, it really helps to put us in a more fair mindset for our horse, right? And we're kind of forced to do that now just because everything's kind of slowed down and has made us look at things. And then like you were saying, Kelly, like, you know, you're getting in there and you have a focus. And so we need to really, you know, take your time, go about that, and not necessarily look for perfection, right? You know, like you said, Tanya, we don't have to get A, B, C. We might get X, Y, and T, and that's okay. That's progress. That's good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, and Callie, what are you doing at your barn? I know you have a great thing going on with masks or something. I saw on your page. What are you doing over at CRK?
Yeah, so it's been about a month since we did close the barn, and I really like struggled with that decision because when the orders came out in Pennsylvania, which is where the barn is, for non-essential business to close, I really read through all of the guidelines, and I was like, I'm not quite sure where a boarding facility falls in this. So initially, in order to be really safe, we did completely close, so it was just staff there, and one person at a time, so really, you know, limited the staff. And then just this past week, we did decide to open that up a little bit, that we're also doing 2-hour time slots for boarders to sign up and come in. So we haven't resumed a lesson program or the training program yet, but we are having the boarders come in so that they can see their horse and ride if they want. And that's been really nice. And it's actually been a different experience for me because I had just came out here to actually California is where I'm at now because I'm developing a training program at a Mustang facility out here. So I had just gotten out here before everything started. So I've kind of been experiencing both worlds. I'm really like both coasts, you know, I'm really in touch with what's going on at the farm in Pennsylvania and, you know, legally there, as well as just with talking to everybody there and kind of getting the feel of it. Plus I'm actually living out here, and at the facility out here, we do keep masks, and we put masks on if we're like near people, if we have to like talk to each other, and then, you know, working with the horses, I don't wear one. But yeah, we're also in our community in Pennsylvania. I knew a lot of people doing it locally, and then I started seeing people in kind of my like online community on the Facebook page and stuff that were doing it. So we ended up kind of organizing this little group of horse people sewing masks, basically, and it's been really fun. So it's a little group that is like sharing stories and sharing patterns, and then we have the healthcare workers in our community that are reaching out and posting when they need some. So I think it's been a way for some of our folks, especially that are stuck at home and have that skill set, or like, you know, had an old sewing machine and just needed something to feel like they were contributing in a bigger way. And then having the little subset of the horse community that they felt like they were kind of doing it alongside each other. It's just been a fun way to stay connected.
That's awesome. Really cool. Well, yeah, we just got to go with the flow. You know, that's the idea. We just got to stay with each other, support each other. That's the whole idea of this conversation. It's just we're here to support everyone and coming up with these ideas. Like, this is amazing. And just talking about like how we can stimulate our horses. I have a question here. Someone submitted, they said, some barns are still not allowing boarders to even come visit yet. Any suggestions for improving our riding and horsemanship while we are at home? So going into that, I know quite a few, the virtual training and things like that, which is quite common. And I know some people here are offering that too. So yeah, if you guys wanted to talk about a little bit, like what can they do at home, like when they can't see their horses?
Well, I've got an online teaching program myself. I have a riding and jumping mentor, which I've had for a couple of years, which you can join, and they're real live lessons that I've taught, and they're out there. And then I just started this, I had thought about it. Well, one thing, you can send in a video like a 15-minute video of you training or competing or flatting or jumping or whatever, and I critique it. A 15-minute video, I think. That's out there as well. And then could I teach live? And it's not perfect, the camera stuff at the moment, but I have been doing it now. I have a couple of gals and a couple in Texas, and but we've organized it so I can teach somebody live. There's a slight delay with the video, but I know they're getting a lot out of it. I've had loads of fun because, again, I haven't been teaching here on the farm until, like I say, yesterday, pretty much. So it's been a fun experience, this virtual, in the moment, do a little flat work, do a little jumping, and really live, but long distance. So for me, that's been loads of fun. But I think there's so much online now that people can do to see YouTube and things. You can do all of that. Then I also think, and reading great old books now, people have the time and the discipline to read great books. I think that's really important at the moment. And then, of course, the fitness. I think your own human fitness. I know myself, a little older now, and I love going to the gym, and I've always done that since the 80s I started. But now going more, and I have here on my property, I do have a place that has some gym equipment, so I do that. But walking the dogs and being out and riding my bike and staying fit, I think there's so much of that you can do. There's even a book that I helped with a guy some years ago about fitness for riders, and there are many of those books out now as well. Even your sports psychology, and whether you're having withdrawal or a little depression, whatever, not being able to be with your horse or not being able to ride, mentally you can work on that as well. There's so much information out there now that I think it's taking it and doing it. Then the other thing I really recommend with this kind of stuff is have a journal, so that even I tend to journal anyway, but so that the days aren't just kind of lost, or again, the lack of discipline, or just that you write down, your goals. We've all talked about having some goals, but I went to the gym, or I hand walk my horse that place that they can sort of only hand walk, or I'm reading this book, or I watch training video, those kinds of things. But actually, I think now is a really good time to journal, also for your gratitude, things like that. But that there's it gives you more structure to what you're doing as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lots of great tips right there. And I know a lot of you guys have, virtual sources on there. So feel free to just let people know what kind of sources you have on what you guys, what do you guys recommend?
I actually, obviously I back up, I second what everything Ann said. In my mind, I was thinking core, and it's actually working for me. I've never had time to do abs, and now I'm doing a lot of abs, and I'm lucky that I can ride, but I can feel now how much I improved with the riding and the falling. And but one thing that I have to say is that I actually do it when I do clinic too. There are a lot of exercise that I do on the ground that are connected to the riding. So when I do clinic, actually I spend most of the time doing those ground exercises. For me, it's like connecting with the horse. We talk with the horse through operant conditioning. Operant conditioning goes through this simple sequence, which is pressure means no, release of the pressure means yes. The problem is when we ride them, the movement of the horse, the lack of elasticity in our elbows, our movement and everything, it's a constant lose of contact, which means that we basically tell the horse constantly, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So now that we have the chance to actually practice those things, for example, take a pair of rein, have a friend or a family member hold the rein on the other side. You close your eyes and you get that person to move randomly the hand, and you have to follow without ever losing contact. 99% you're gonna lose contact. So the moment that you acquire that ability to never lose contact when someone moves the reins and you don't know what's happening, and then the next step is, once you get that one, apply pressure. You will see that as soon as you apply pressure and the other person moves the rein, then you start losing contact again. So once you learn both these two skills, which takes, trust me, takes a lot. As soon as you go back on your horse, you'll be surprised how like automatically the horse is going to understand every single cue that comes from your hands. That's one, for example.
That's awesome. So you'll be going back to the barn, you're like, wow, have you been taking lessons? Well, I've been gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, any other tips on that? Like stay-at-home things? What, any other like takeaways, see what someone can take right now?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Tanya.
Go ahead, I'll go after you.
Okay. I was just going to say, I would think about, there's kind of different phases, I feel like, of learning. So usually when we first have time or we get interested in something, we go through a phase of just consuming a lot of information. You know, you start doing Google searches or you buy a whole bunch of books. And then we go into a phase of usually picking something that we like, whether it's a subject area or it's like a teacher that we really like, and we go deeper with them. And then we go out, we start practicing, applying it, and then the process just kind of cycles. But I think it's important to be aware of that process, because it's easy to get stuck in just consuming information and just like doing tons of reading and tons of Googling and reading articles and watching videos. And that's a really important step. But I would encourage, like, do that for a little while and then pick a teacher or a specific topic that you're really interested in, and use the time to go deeper in that. And that might be more intellectual study, or it might be something that even is more of a practice. Like if you start realizing, wow, I really could use this time to get more flexible, get more mobile, or to improve my contact. But it's kind of being aware of those different phases, I think, could be really helpful.
That's awesome. Yeah, just like finding some that you align with, and just going to that. You can analyze things so much, but actually like doing it makes a huge, yeah, I mean, you can think about it all day long, but you get to like actually go into it and practice in the practice of it. So yeah. Tanya, what were you going to
say? Well, Callie, you kind of covered it to a point. What I was going to say is that it's a good time to kind of be not so goal-oriented, and to take time to remember, the slower things. I don't really know how to say this. You think I would, but no. More time to think about how your horse thinks, think about how your horse is, maybe go through photographs and videos and go, I've always done it this way because that's how I was taught. Maybe I was taught pressure release, and the horse isn't really getting it. And maybe what this horse needs is something totally different. And maybe I should practice on my dog something totally out of my norm, like clicker training. Say, I think I want to try clicker training. They use it on dolphins and whales and birds and tigers and whatever, and it works, and it's a wild animal. And so if I'm working with my own horse, who knows me very well and is very domesticated, but he's not quite getting something, maybe there's a different way to approach it. And so you can practice like on your dog, clicker training, getting the timing. And then when you are able to go to your horse, practice with him and see if it works. And if it doesn't, try something else. And if it does, boom, you got it. I think another thing is, I have friends and clients kind of worldwide. And so a lot of my work has been virtual. That's why this is not so different to me. And what I'm hearing from them is they say, I can't go to my barn. I can't see my horse. I'm going crazy. So, installing a camera, having your barn manager do it, pay them for it, put a camera where you can watch your horse. Just watch what he does all day. Now you have time, you can just kind of keep it on and watch it. People have found that to be very helpful. They're like, I never knew my horse had a nap at 11:30 every morning, but look, there he is, and he always goes to the same place. And it's stupid little things on the surface, but it counts, And their own depression, because people have written to me and they're like, I'm so depressed. I can't stand it. I'm so depressed. They watch their horse and they feel better. You feel lighter. You feel more connected on a way, even though he may have no clue. You can watch him and know who he is, if that makes sense. So that kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah, I think that's huge. You know, just evaluating your horse, just watching.
Mhm.
That's a huge one. Like you can get a camera on your horse, and you're saying too, like video, like just videoing or like seeing yourself, like a reflection of yourself doing work with your horse. Like just videotape
Right.
like, your work with your horse, and that's what we're going to the virtual training. Like that's where it's going. You know, like that's what a great time to do virtual training. Now is the
But you
best
can
time. And you
bring,
can see your own videos, like of you working with your
right,
and see like, oh, I see exactly what that person's talking about. So
exactly.
yeah, going into that, I great. I love what you, yeah, great point.
Well, I think that, I think horses are our trainers. The human, as a trainer, when I go in, or an instructor, I am kind of I tell people I'm a talking mirror. So all I'm doing is reflecting and telling why and what, not just what to do. Don't just hold your rein this way. Don't just put your leg in this position. Here's why. So if you watch your own videos, if somebody has videoed you, we all have them, because that curiosity, what do I look like on a horse? So if you watch yourself, you can become your own trainer and then confer with your real trainer and say, hey, am I seeing this right? And it's a really good time to just center down and do that. I think that's important, actually.
Absolutely.
And piggybacking off of what Tanya said, because like the whole idea of connecting, bonding with your horse in a meaningful way is so huge, right? And like Dr. Telatin was talking about, like the contact, and again, that's connection, right? Staying connected with your horse. And so it's not even just, the physical contact and connection that you have with your horse, but there's so many ways that we can be engaging with our horse, developing our feel and understanding, right? And what's neat about being here with each and every one of y'all is everybody is focused on like serving the horse, right? Not making that horse perform for you, right? And it's so awesome, Anne, to hear you talk about that with all of your accolades and accomplishments. That it's all about focusing and serving our horse. And when we serve our horse, my goodness, they want to do whatever we want them. Like, you're awesome, you're amazing, right? And so I would just encourage everyone, like right now, focus on how can I be the best person for my horse. And for me, that helps me to become a better person in general, right? And taking the time to be patient, to look at our horse's needs, helps me to stop focusing on what I want and what I'm looking at, and to really kind of put the attention on them. And it helps me to be less selfish with my relationships with people too. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, totally. Yeah, like that's exactly. It's just like we're here for the horse. This whole thing is for the horse. Like, and we get to go along for the journey. And it's just I mean, this is a great opportunity. Like, you can do so many things. Like you just said, like how we can build that relationship. Well, not even have to touch your horse, but just to understand them, watch them, like put a camera in. I think they're all like amazing.
I want to piggyback a little bit what Tanya said. When my class got shut down, my equine behavior class got shut down, and to teach the students how to communicate, I make them clicker train a horse. So they have to like connect really and do fun stuff. But once the class got shut down, we went home online. So I made them, like Tanya said, clicker train an animal in the house. But I if you add the chance, don't use your dog, because the dog genetically has been selected also to respond to emotional cue from human. And there's sort of like an emotional gene that has been developed. Oh, this is not the site to go into that one, but do it with your cat. Do it with your cat. Or I said, someone like, I don't have a cat. I'm like, go buy a mouse. Go buy a mouse and clicker train a mouse. And the type of response that a mouse or your cat give it to you, it's very similar to the horse response.
Someone said in the comment, they're like,
yeah.
You could train your boyfriend or girlfriend.
I actually one asked me, and she's like, my dog is old. I don't have a cat. I don't want to go buy a mouse. And she had the boyfriend there on Zoom conference that I could hear on the system. And I said, just clicker train your boyfriend. without him knowing, though. That's the key. He should know that you're doing it. And then you can use negative reinforcement, which is nagging. You start nagging until he does what you want to, and then you remove the nagging. Or you can use positive reinforcement, so find out something that he wants to, and then have him do certain things for you. That, yes, it's possible.
Well, good to know.
I like
I'm glad to
using
know that.
I like using a dog though, because the dog is different and they're easier. They're so much easier than a horse because they are wired totally differently. So if I can get that person to understand how to do the dog and get through to them, then the next step, I like birds too. Don't you like using birds? Birds.
Yes.
So I like kind of that progression, because if I can teach the people to think in tiny steps, if you need, a certain task or you want the horse to do something, a lot of people don't understand that you have to break it down, not into 5 pieces, maybe 10 or 20 pieces. And so that's why I like starting with the dog, actually. But I understand why you say that. It is totally different. I like the progression.
So if you want, since we are home, so go on YouTube and Google the fox that has been domesticated in Russia. And then what's that term? And in that video that pops out, it talks also about the genetic evolution of loss of fear for human, and about the dog that has also this gene of emotional connection. So it's a fun like understanding of how the evolution went. What happens. And now actually with the fox, they did it so because they selected only lack of fear of human, they selected only one behavior, and they could actually isolate the gene of domestication.
It is
that is common on more animals.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, I want to step in. Wait, one more question, because I want to make sure we have time for everybody here. So this question is, not specifically in training the horse, but it's for people in the industry. And this person in particular, they have horses that they breed and they sell, and they're like, gosh, like I'm having trouble selling my horses right now. Like, where do you guys have any resources of like reputable places to find like responsible owners and things like that? They're just having a hard time like looking. They want to, like, I have friends who are buying horses, but they're like going on Facebook and looking online. Do you guys have any resources that you guys know of like who they could reach out to finding reasonable, reputable buyers for horses?
So I know that I think technically you can't really sell a horse on Facebook, I think the way it works. But what you can do is you can connect people, right? And so I would say, especially for that type of industry with what you're doing, like build up your connections with people, because people talk. If you've got good horses and they're well trained and taken care of, or whatever the case might be, might not be selling trained horses, but people are going to know about what you have. And so I would recommend plugging into different types. There's so many cool Facebook groups, so many. They're so cool that you can plug into, where you can meet new people and connect and build relationships. And in my experience, by having those connections and relationships with people, it really helps to kind of expand your reach and have people that connect you to other people and things like that. So that's one thing, especially right now, that I would definitely recommend, is kind of digging into those relationships with people on an individual level, and you'll be surprised how that opens up things on a larger scale for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
And there's disciplines, like there's discipline fields, like whatever your horse is doing, like finding that discipline, like Western riding, like then you're going to be talking to those people, and that's your type of horse, and you're getting closer to finding that horse's home. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to step on anyone's space there.
I was just going to say that it's a strange time right now, and I'm working with clients who are looking to buy horses, and they're hard to find. And then the ones that are selling horses, the prices are dropping. That's what I'm seeing here. They're not holding, if a horse is 15,000, 2 months ago, he's now 10,000. So they're dropping I'm seeing that they're dropping, and I'm in a, you know, I'm not locked into one discipline. So I'm helping people find a reining horse or a jumping horse or a dressage horse or a foal. And it's hard to find them. I will tell you, it's hard to find good quality horses from a quality seller as well. So it's kind of a two-way street. I love the social media for this, and I use it a lot, and the groups on Facebook, and it is absolutely true, you know, that helps, but it's tough right now. It really is. It's a strange place. I don't know is it like that for everybody else in other places?
I don't know. I feel like it's what the energy you bring to the situation. So if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, this is the situation, and you just go with the flow, I feel you on that, like saying that. But if you believe it, like this is really hard, then it's gonna be really hard. But if you come with a sense of like, okay, I have this great horse, this opportunity, and someone is looking for a horse right now. Like they've got all this time. They can go and visit, you know, they're sitting at home, like maybe they're in a city or something like that, and they want to get out. Like this is a great opportunity. That's how I see it. Go sell your horse. Someone's waiting to go out, you know?
Yeah, and in Texas, we have like so many horses here, so it's crazy how many horses are here. It's actually a problem. So there's a lot of options, but I know that people here, because there are so many options, they're looking for specific types of horses that can do specific things, specific temperaments. They might even get as specific as, I want this color and this type of, I mean, it's crazy the options you have. And so there's gonna be somebody that wants your horse. And so one thing that I would encourage too is people, it's an interactive age. People wanna see videos and interactions, and it might not even, you don't have to show the horse performing. People wanna get an idea, is this horse silly or goofy? All those things that are really going to speak to people in a way that'll help them to connect to you. And to add on that too, like even in your regular social media, you know, post pictures and stuff of your horse. It might not be in a specific group, but there might be somebody in your church that you didn't know that was looking for a horse, or, you know, somebody in a whatever, right? And so there's a lot of opportunity there for sure.
Awesome.
There is. It's definitely different though, because you can't, like, we're looking at a horse, we're in Colorado, we're looking at a horse in Texas, and how do we go see her? How do we go see this horse in person? Do we fly? Is that the safest way? Do we drive? You know what I mean? It's just different. It's not that it's better or worse, it's just different. It's an adjustment period. So yeah, absolutely, the videos have been critical. They really have been.
And also, obviously, this is probably the person that made that question knows it, but I think to like do a little bit of research. Now, I don't know which discipline that the horses are in about that person, but I think do a little research. There are a lot of websites that are like reputable. And maybe they tried once and it wasn't working, and maybe it wasn't that reputable, but I know maybe Anne can help me. In our world, I think, what is it, imported show jumper, imported warm bloods, I don't remember the website, but I heard a lot of friends that actually found horses. So I have a friend that's selling horses in North Carolina, and I have a client that found the horse without me. I don't, they just went, and I'm like, so they found the horse, they got there, they tried the horse, and they saw that they were riding bridleless, and they're like, oh, my trainer ride bridleless. And it's like, who's your trainer? It's Angelo. We actually are very good friend with the seller, and like, oh, okay, so I'll actually give you a discount because I know that the horse is going in a good place. So there are, like, use the online resources. And if one doesn't work, that's the beauty of online. Just try them all.
And everybody has time now. Also, there's more time to do it. It's very different, no question. It's totally different. But it's a little bit the new norm, and take advantage that you do have the time and there to do your research. That's the main thing, though. Do your research for sure, because there are those that there will be, you know, not so reputable ones for sure. And whether you get the horse vetted or not, or find out who else had the horse, I think doing all of that is important at this time as well. But yeah, some of these way younger people, they are into it. They're looking at videos all the time and all excited about it. And it's just the new norm, I think, in some ways.
It kind of reminds me of like online dating. When it started, everyone was like, online dating, that's crazy, right? And now I have like so many friends been married like 10, 15 years, and like they met online, right? And I think a lot of us too, with purchasing horses online at first, 10, 15 years ago, is maybe some bad experiences, but like you guys are saying, there really are some really valuable ways to connect with each other.
Absolutely. Then
Callie, get a horse and a date.
Business.
If you're lucky at the same time.
Package deal.
Right? Awesome. Yeah, so Callie, if you have anything to add in on that before we're gonna hop in, because we want to make sure everyone has a little bit of time at the end here, but any other last comments on that?
Honestly, I think that was a well-covered discussion, and I think the best thing is to just be in any type of horse sale situation, be mutually respectful. I mean, there is an essence of buyer beware, but I think when both parties can come to it as kind of going back to what's the best for the horse, you've got to find the right buyer so it's a good situation. And at the same time, as a buyer, you want to make sure that you're getting a horse that's really a good fit for you too, that it's not something that you have to rehome in a few months anyway.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of options out there. It is different, but we get to embrace it. It's just one of those things. We get to go with the flow and connection, just reaching out to your community. This is exactly what it's about. Like, that's how you get to meet people and just talk about your horses. So awesome. Well, we're getting towards the end here, so I want to give everyone an opportunity to explain a little bit more of what they do at their facilities and ways to get in contact with our speakers here. And we're just going to go around and just you guys can discuss. We're going to do 5 minutes per person, just so you guys have enough time to just share what you guys want and just let everyone know what your forte, what you enjoy doing with horses. So why don't we just start with Callie, since you're in my screen and that's how we're gonna go.
Sure. Well, what I really love doing is actually what I'm doing right now, working at the Mustang facility in designing a training program and working with what would often be called problem behaviors. There's some horses here that have been through several trainers and have some residual problems, and I love understanding each individual horse, understanding behavior, and finding the solutions for them. So that's really what lights me up. And I love the learning process, both for horses and for human students too. So, my other passion besides the training is creating learning programs. And that's mostly what we do at CRK Training is creating online courses and programs. Like, I love being able to especially work with other instructor. Dr. Telatin and I work together on a show jumping course, training show jumpers. And I love, taking a subject and especially when I also work with another professional, another teacher, and think about how can I translate this to a digital format and, make it really effective and make it fun for the student to go through. So that's what we do at CRK Training. And then we have the barn in Pennsylvania, and I'm just so grateful to be working with horses at this time and being able to still do what I love. I'm really grateful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we'll have a replay of this. If you have your link to your website, you feel free to put it in the chat box so people can find you. We'll have your link in the replay as well. So we want to make sure you guys all can have access to all these amazing experts and get in contact with them as well. So Callie, if you have it, feel free to put it in the chat. But we'll go on to what do you do, Tanya? What do you have going on?
I train and give lessons, and I like working with people who either have a horse that they consider a problem. Most of my clients have a horse that they think is not, or they just don't have that connection, So I like to do a lot like Callie. Actually, she and I are very similar, and I like putting the horse and the rider not only in the same book, but on the same page, same paragraph, same sentence. So if I can get everybody, together, then they work better together. I love working with both humans and horses who have fear issues and helping them see how to get through it, make friends with it, obliterate it, whatever they need, because everybody's different. So I really like that. And then I also am an author, so I'm writing a lot of horse books, and one novel is published, second one will come out probably in 2021. And just kind of putting everything together. I like the communication, giving the human an insight to how the horse thinks. I'm better with the horses, truthfully, but don't tell anyone. That's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, feel free, if you've got it, go ahead and share it, in the chat box on the side. If you have a link to whatever you want people to see, that would be great. People would love to reach out. Like, great time to read a book, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Awesome. So, hey, yeah, Anne, we kind of talked a little bit. So tell us a little bit more what you got going on.
Yeah, well, I'm here in Frenchtown, New Jersey. I spend the winters in Florida, but the rest of the time here at my farm. And really hunters and jumpers, a little bit, with some 3-day eventers for sure. I help many of those. Kids, amateurs, a lot of professionals that come that I work with and enjoy working with them as well. So lessons and training here, you can do a full care and have the horse and rider and training. Also young horses, riding them and working on some sales for sure, all of that. And then ideally going to horse shows. We'll have to see, as I say, when those begin. And I really do love to teach. I've done a lot of my own competing and everything, but I love giving back to the sport, to the community, and giving the horses a mouthpiece. Really, it's she said the more for the horses really than the people, trying to say what your body is doing, what you're really telling the horse when people are doing back and forth, good, go stop kind of thing. How to listen to the horse more, feel the horse more, how you can improve your communication with them, being a better rider, going to the gym, doing these other things as well off the horse. Very often I say becoming the horse, by going to the gym, or I've had injuries through the years, I've done it a long time. As you're rehabbing your knees, it's like the horse's stifle, all of those things, how to be a better horseman or better horsewoman. And it's not just about the competing, for sure. It's for sure, for me, it's always been the love of the horse, how to be a better partner to the horse. With all that, like I say, I've written a book as well years ago, and it's actually coming out, I think it's sort of its third publication, hopefully in the next month or so, with Trafalgar. They've been a great publisher. That should be out again with updated photos and a whole new section on hunter derbies. So it has the equitation and hunters and jumpers, but also a hunter derby section in it now. My online teaching that I have, these new virtual lessons that people can sign up for and we can do remotely, which I think is fun. And these people that have been sending in things, looking forward to that, and myself as well. I also have a DVD on training. So I have many of those things that you can get at my website. You can go AnneKursinski.com or Riding and Jumping Mentor. But I love all of it. And as I say, to give back, yes, it's to the people, but I got to tell you, it's to the horses mostly. The horse has been so great in my lifetime, and whatever I can do to help them. A little stable management, also all about the care, I think all of the feeding and the being on top of the shoeing, and along with the riding. But there's so much more. It's all of it. It's such fun, and I love to share that with everybody. So yeah, that's what
I think I have one of your photos here. Let's see here. I hope I can share this.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah, that's a DVD. Yeah, that's very useful. Done several years ago, but improving communication for more effective riding, and that's what it's all about. How can I communicate better with my horses to get good results?
Awesome, cool. Well, yeah. Oh, I hope you guys can see me. I hope I didn't close it.
Yeah,
You're about to be good. Okay, good. Just making sure. Awesome. Well, great. So yeah, Anne, if you put like a link or something into the chat box, people can reach out to you as well, and get your resources. That's great. And so Dr. Telatin, I know like school's out right now. What do we got going on?
No, we're online. I'm doing more Zoom meeting now than before. Because
Oh, wow.
I choose personally to go into more one-to-one with the students. So it's easier for them because they have less time to spend in class, but it's more complicated for me because I have more time dedicate once I reach all the students. But what I do is actually, my background is unique. I was able to achieve one of the most difficult instructor certificate from the British Horse Society. And I had the highest, which is the Fellow of the British Horse Society. And at the same time, I was able also to get a PhD in equine behavior. So I'm in the middle. And like all of your other panelists, our passion is teaching people how to communicate better with the horses to get happier horses. So what I do is university calls me, and when I go there, I help them to understand the practical side of all the theory that they already knows. And so I go there and I do examples. I take horses and I show them, okay, this is in a complicated term, differential reinforcement of an incompatible behavior, which is a way to teach a horse that doesn't want to get injected in a syringe in 5 minutes to still and get injected without a restriction, because basically you teach the horse that that the still behavior stop me. So then the horse sees the syringe like, now I'm tricking you, and it stills, and it's happy because it's tricking you because you go away, but at the same time he's actually still and he received the injection. So this is an example. So when I go to the industry instead, and we have this difficult horse, I help them understand that behind that there is a learning theory that once you learn it can open up you many doors. And vice versa. When I go to the university, they know already the theory, then they go close to a horse, can do anything, and I teach them that one. And same thing as riding. And then my passion, I was almost getting it done this year in Italy with a big expo at the first bridleless competition. But then with coronavirus, the whole circuit got screwed up. But yeah, my passion is teaching horses through operant conditioning. You teach them to learn to do the things on their own, and you just prompt them, and then they do it for you. So then when I ride them, I like to take the bridle away and do some fun competition. I competed at Princeton 2 or 3 times bridleless, and it's always fun. So my goal is this one: make people realize that you don't make the horse do anything. You teach the horse do everything, and then you just prompt them, go there, and then the horse does it for you. That's how you win, basically. Every great champion has found a partnership with their horses, and Anne can talk mileage more than me on that one with all her results. And my name, you can find me also online, Angelo Telatin. I hated my name because it's an old name, Angelo. But now I found out if you actually Google Angelo Telatin, it's the only one in the world. So it comes out everywhere. Now, and so I have to pay attention now. If I don't want to get recognized, I don't give them my name, because if like I can't not get recognized. If they just Google to like do something, I'm in trouble. 1 second, I have Alexa stop. Alexa stop. Yeah, we have a conversation. Like I live alone, so I have a lot of conversation with I can't say the name, otherwise you start talking, but I also have Echo on the other side, so I have 2, so I have multiple.
You're hilarious. Get little fights, virtual fights. Like,
yeah.
Well, cool. So Dr. Tellington, yeah, if you've got, go ahead and put it in the box,
Yeah.
the chat box, if you have a link you'll be able to take advantage of. That's awesome. So Noah, let's hear about it. What do you got going on?
Absolutely, absolutely. And first off, Kelly, thank you so much for putting this together. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. So anytime, so thanks a lot. And then also, Anne, I am a big fan of yours. I've got your book in my library. Like, you're awesome. And Callie, I mean, your contribution to the horse world is incredible. And then Dr. Telatin and Tanya, as soon as I heard about y'all, I Googled y'all, so I kind of stalked you a little bit. And you guys are incredible folks. And so it's an honor to be here with each and every one of you guys, because it's so clear that you guys love the horse, which is just awesome. And then kind of like what I do is my biggest focus is on keeping people safe with their horses. I work with a lot of people that have either had pretty horrific accidents, lost their confidence, and it's interdiscipline, doesn't matter what discipline it is. And so the way I help people with that is by helping people learn how to stay connected with their horse. And what really works and helps with people to get back to not having fear and anxiety and being able to enjoy their rides, right, which is why we do this, is when they're connected with their horse. Like, the more that they get apart and that chasm opens, that's when things go sideways, right? And that's when people end up getting hurt. So that's kind of my focus, getting people back to that place to where they can enjoy this incredible sport that God has gifted us with, and where they can do it in a way that they can be confident that they're being safe because they're being connected. And so if anybody wants to learn more about that, kind of my philosophy, mindset, the way I work with things, you can go to read.steadyhorse.com. And there's an article there that you can read, and I'll post that in the chat here as well. But again, it's been an honor to be here with each and every one of y'all.
That's awesome. Yay. Okay. Well, yeah, feel free to put it in the box there for people. Oh, perfect. You're like on point. You got it. So it's in the chat box for you guys to see where Noah's got it. He has all of his information there too. So yeah, I thank you so much, you guys, like, for being part of this. This has been, for me, like, and all of you, it's just very, very clear. It's like, this is just for the horse, and we're bringing the community together, and that's what it's all about. And so I appreciate you guys all being here. And I want to let you guys all know too, all you people watching. So I have, it's a course too. So I love, this is my forte. It's just, my passion project is just like helping people build a better relationship with their horse. And just like hosting things like this, like just really just giving you whatever resources you need to make it work. Like that's what I love doing. And so I host, there's like, it's an hour-long conversation, and we just go diving deep into your vision with your horse. Like, what is it? Like, why do you even have a horse? Just like really diving deep and having that relationship and connecting. So starting that, like knowing where you are, then you can really start the relationship with your horse. And that's what it's all about for me. Just like, gives me like goosebumps, like just talking about it, like the relationship you can build, like just understanding like what horses mean to you in your life. And then you can accomplish whatever, your dreams are. So going short-term, long-term goals. And so, yeah, I offer a 6-month program as well. It's virtual. It's all virtual, so people worldwide, and it's just amazing. The community, and like I said, the resources, bringing people like this together, just so we can, enjoy our time with our horses. This is life is now, and so we get to enjoy it with these amazing creatures. And so, yeah, that's what I have. It's an inspiration call, and it's free, and we just dive deep and see what you guys are interested in, and we see if it's a good fit, if you want to be a client of mine as well. So that's what I have as well. So thank you all. And we were like right on time. Like, we are so on point, guys, like an hour and 20 minutes.
Good job.
Great. Well, you guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them our way. I'm going to have all these links here. I'm going to send out a replay as well if you didn't get to catch the live. So thank you all so much. Noah, Dr. Tellington, and Tanya, and Callie, amazing. Thank you so much. I think we really supported a lot of people today. And, COVID, we get to be online and connected together.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the panelists too. This was fun.
Fun. Yeah.
Fun.
Y'all stay safe, stay healthy.
All right, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.